My friend, this might sound crazy, but a lot of people don't know what the names of the things on their guitars are. So this is a quick video. If you already know this, pass on. If not, this is the video for you. This is called the head. It's where the tuning pegs reside. Meaning, when we put strings on the instrument, generally on a 6-string, it's a E, A, D, G, B, and E. We put the string down through the bridge. When we put it down through the bridge, it goes all the way down to the bottom, and we take the tuning peg and we take it up there and we put the string through a little bitty hole and twist the fulcrum so the strings go up through the middle and then out the top. I always say like a flower growing, lotus flower, whoop, up through the middle, out through the top. When we do that, and then we put a peg at the bottom here, which are these little bitty golf-shaped looking guys. You just put them right down in there, you hold the ball of the string, pull it up tight, and then you put it in here. What I do is once I get them up here and I have a little bit of kink in it, I pull them back about a fret and a half. About 2 frets for my E and my B, but about a half a fret for the E, and about for an A and D and G, about a fret and a half. It gives me a little extra space to hold tension and then have something to put on the tuning peg when we whap. When we whap them. When we whap them, you're gonna wanna make sure that when they whap, they go up through that same lotus flower, and then that string goes over the top of the string that you're doing. Meaning, don't go under, it'll wrap weird. It gives it weird tension, just believe me. Okay, when we put it in there, it goes over the saddle. The saddle and the aforementioned nut keep the strings equidistance. That means when we have a perfectly tuned guitar, our 12th fret will give us our harmonics, and then the chord we know down here, the E major, can be played at the 13th fret. So the concept here is that sound comes out of the sound hole. There is a hole in the middle. If you haven't noticed, oh my gosh, it's where most of these reside. This is a pick. The picks, when we play, do these individual string notations along with chords, and the chords are played on frets. Each one of these is a fret. Notice the metal is the fretting unto which one does not play a finger on, unless they're trying to get a harmonic, which then it is great to just hold your finger above that fret. Believe it or not, every single one of these frets has one. Why? Because they're distances and they give off frequencies. It's simple. But the concept is you get your best ones at 5, 7, and 12, so try those in the beginning. When we look at 3, 5, 7, 9, sometimes 10 and 12, they have markings on the top here. Double deuces, that's for the 12th fret. All the other ones are different on different guitars, whether you have an acoustic or you have a classical style, it is still the same type of concept. Just depends on the maker. So when we get the sound out of the sound hole and it goes up the fretboard, we use the frettings to make chords. Depending on where we put these chords, they sometimes work, they sometimes don't work. Sometimes we use different fingers and we use bar chords, thusly shortening the distance between the nut and the saddle. So if we were to play this same chord right here and add a bar, we would get a B, B flat A, A flat G, G flat, or an F sharp, because chords and notes have 2 names. I know that got a little into theory. However, with this instrument, the head, tuning pegs, strings, nut, fretboard, this is the dreadnought style guitar. It is the most classic and it is the most popular. Other than that, if you have a cut here, that means it's a cutaway, thusly to play up the top. If you have a cutaway and it has an electric pickup, that is known as a CE, or a cutaway electric. A little bit more expensive when you have an electric pickup and something. It's generally about 80 to 150 bucks more for this unit. These units should have a solid top, solid sides, and solid back to have a nice instrument. If you've got a solid top and laminate sides, no fret, still a nice instrument. But if you've got a laminate type of instrument, chances of it lasting very, very long are probably slim. So take really good care of it. If you take good care of stuff that is subpar, work on that, learn your fingerings, get all these things, and then when it's time to do it, buy something that's awesome. I would recommend anything, but I don't get sponsored, so I don't. Here we go. Everything on this guitar besides the wood was talked about. These are laminate inlays, which means just like the inlays on your guitar, this little binding here has a purpose too. On the inside, there is lots of wood. bracing. It keeps all the wood from closing in on itself and keeps it nice and acoustic. It is perfectly and symmetrically put out, even with the pieces of woods in there, to not have those sound frequencies reverberate poorly. In most standard guitars now, there's something called scallop bracing, meaning there is a layer of bracing on the rim that is cut into like a little bitty snake, segmented. Thusly, when it goes through different types of temperatures, it fluctuates with it without making the thing break. The only other thing we really didn't talk about was the pickup jack. This is also called a strap lock, and if you have one of these things, you generally have guitars that might have something called a pick guard so you don't scratch into this. I've had this for 25 years. I play 4 hours a day on all of my instruments. This thing has seen hours. You don't always have to hit your instrument. You know, and it's probably time for me to take the lacquer off this, fix up the guitar again. Anywho, if you enjoyed this video, you have any questions or any comments, please put them in the comment section below. Other than that, keep your fingers on the fretboard and enjoy music. Aloha.